people of the internet. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer here, and this time I'm bringing you guys a pretty, I would say a pretty huge and important dose of freedom, and we're going to talk about meaning and purpose. And I'm going to do actually a mini series about meaning and purpose, which actually means I'm going to just go through the signs and show you how can you create meaning and purpose in your life through your zodiac sign. So this is actually, I would say, a very simple way of creating purpose and meaning in your life. But what I've experienced and seen is a lot of people, hear it, and it seems so simple and easy. It's like, okay, it can't be it, doing that, going for walks in nature can't be something that creates purpose and meaning in my life, so I just won't do it. But I've tested it out for a lot or a lot in the real world and in the material realm. It really works, and I actually personally very much use what I'm about to say to you in my daily life. I've integrated it into my career, and this is one of the good things about this information. Actually, if you have more availability, or at least I hope your thought processes start working, how can I integrate these things more into my daily routine or into my career working life? Because working life is such a big part of our everyday experience. It's good to have these activities and things I'm going to discuss with you in our working lives as well. Now, having said all that, I want to just do a kind of shameless plug for my other videos. I did one other video where I mention even some of the more maybe depending on where you are as an astrologer or as an astrology student or just a person who is curious about life. I did a video about purpose and meaning, which has a little bit even deeper information in it. So I recommend you go check that out. It's on my channel. In this specific mini series, I'm going to give you the most simplest of techniques that I shared in that video as well. And we're going to go actually through the signs, and I'm going to show you how creating meaning and purpose actually works in a very simple way. Now, and just a couple of disclaimers. Let's put a couple of disclaimers here. We're going to talk about mostly the ascendant, so from the ascendant. But if you only know your sun sign, you can use it from the sun as well. So listen to your sun sign. If you already kind of know your moon as well, you can give it a go with the moon. But for me, moon and sun are less tested, so we're going to be talking about from the ascendant as well. Now we're going to be talking about a very specific house, which is the 9th house and the sign in it. So very important to understand as well. And just when you're hearing this information, it's kind of like, yeah, it makes sense, but it doesn't, and there's something more there. So guys, I'm going to give my best to explain this. Whenever there are more influences in the 9th house, it already changes the game. And we're not going to go super deep into aspects and the rulers and stuff like that, but we're going to give you, or I'm going to give you the basis, the foundation of how to create meaning and purpose, so you can get yourself started. If you're kind of like struggling with meaning and purpose, there's maybe not enough in your career, in your working life, so at least you can start to do some of the things I'm going to discuss in these videos. Now, yeah, it's you can't always integrate everything into your career or work, but usually, most likely, there are things I'm going to say that you can do during your daily routines. Maybe it's evening, maybe it's morning, maybe it's somewhere during lunchtime. You can most likely start to integrate at least some of these into it, so it will create, even if a tiny sliver, meaning and purpose in your life. Yes, some of the things I'm going to discuss are a little bit bigger, they take time, but even working towards them can create meaning and purpose for the signs. Now, another important disclaimer is when we're talking about mission and career and work, usually it needs a deeper look at, obviously, that whole entire natal chart. It requires aspects, it requires rulership, it requires a lot more to give you an indication of what is their maybe truthful or rightful career, and where you will feel more on purpose as well. So just a disclaimer that we're not going to do full, let's say, career or work videos, but this is more about the purpose and meaning side of things. And there is a difference there. And yes, you can feel, on when you're doing your mission in life or serving your mission in life, you can feel already on purpose. But again, it's a little bit of a deeper topic. And what I've seen is when you integrate those topics that we're going to discuss into the career as well, or the mission side will have a lot more purpose and would even call it a deeper meaning to it as well. Now, I do personally use mostly the whole sign system you can see here on the screen, and which means the houses are equal size, and I've done a couple of videos for beginners on my channel as well about houses, about different systems. Having said that, I would, if you're a more advanced astrologer, but you don't know this specific thing, I would also check Placidus house cusps, the 9th house cusp specifically, and Campanus house system 9th house cusp. Whatever sign is there gives you also good indication of what is happening or how to create mission and purpose in your daily life. Now, that's it for the introduction, and let's start going into each sign specifically. And next up is the sign of Leo, guys. And you can see on my example now that we're talking about mostly ascendant, but yes, sun and moon or stellium in Leo also applies. You can see for the Leos, the 9th house is the sign of Aries. And if you remember, and if you watch the Aries meaning and purpose video, you can start to see some similarities of what create or what create Aries purpose, the things that they can do. And now, once we get to the sign of Leo, what are some of the things that create them, the meaning and purpose that they can integrate into their daily lives? And also, obviously, some things are a little bit bigger, hard to have them in your daily lives. So let's start going deep. And for Leos, Aries in the 9th house cusp, how do they actually create purpose and meaning in their lives? Now, one of the big things here for Leos is competition. So a lot of, maybe other people don't want to hear it, but Leos themselves do like the competition. When they're in this type of competition with somebody, with something, maybe it's even a sports thing, they really feel like they're living their meaningful, purposeful life. And also very, very, this is a big one for Leos. The next things I'm about to say, starting new things, initiating new things. And I think this is one of those things you can really add to your day. Just kind of like even miniature new beginnings in something. Maybe it's a blog you're writing, maybe it's a business you're doing already, but there are things you can start to initiate in those things as well. And it doesn't always have to be only business, but starting new things for Leos, initiating new things, taking action really puts them or makes them feel like they're on their purpose. They're creating more meaning, more deeper meaning in their daily lives, actually. Now, the next one I would say is as equally as important, because the next one is physical movement. We already talked about competition, physical movement, fitness, body, working on the muscle, working on the body, martial arts, good example, sports, even like lifting weights, definitely, building the muscles, CrossFit, those types of things. These types of movements of the body really, really give a Leo a lot of purpose in their lives and meaning. So, if you're a Leo there sitting and they're kind of like, just don't have any meaning and purpose in my life. Well, get off your ass first and foremost and start moving. Just simple physical movement, first. And uh, I would recommend more like quicker spurts of action in this case than maybe long marathons. So just go outside and run for a few minutes. Again, get those juices flowing, meaning and purpose created there immediately. Now, mentioned already new beginnings, but yeah, starting new things, new beginnings, good thing to do. Also, one of the things you can really integrate as Leos into your working lives, remember in the introduction I said, if you're able to put these things in your working career, then it's easier to kind of create that purpose and meaning every day, because we work every day, or we work on our careers, businesses every day. And this is the thing with Leos: entrepreneurship, startups, kind of starting the businesses, making the businesses. This is the business world, the entrepreneurship world is very much what gives the Leo a meaningful experience and purposeful experience during this lifetime. Um, you know, all sorts of things that can create adrenaline rushes. So this can obviously be extreme sports. Now, please be careful with this. I wouldn't want anybody to go, too extreme with this, but it is something, that can actually, when you do it, you can literally create more meaning and purpose. Just some examples are coming to my mind where I know a person has a Leo, and literally when they get to do that extreme sports, maybe it's just 30 minutes, an hour, during summer or whatever, during winter, and it's kind of like a not a routine for them, but it's still something that they come off it, and they come from the kind of like the thing. Maybe it's a jet ski, maybe it's a snowmobile, whatever it is. Actually, it can create a more meaningful experience for them. But yeah, and the easier things for a Leo to do, again, entrepreneurship, easy, most likely not easy, but at least you can put it, you can basically integrate that into your day. Physical movement, working on the body, working on the appearance. So, a lot of people say Leos are, vain. Yes, to some extent they are vain, but again, working on the physical appearance actually gives them meaning and purpose as well, when they're kind of like working on their muscles and stuff like that. So remember that, guys. Really good. So I put some places here again, guys. Remember this, if you watch the other videos, this is like part tongue-in-cheek, kind of like almost funny, but there's like a slight smidgen of truth there as well. So gyms, places where Leos can actually feel more purpose. Gyms, feeling, working on their bodies, working on their muscles. Physical movement happens in gyms. Same thing about competitions, competing somewhere. Dojos, martial arts, doing martial arts there. Racetracks, even as well. I know it sounds funny, it sounds weird, but actually it's kind of true as well. Now, startup companies, anywhere where there's kind of like this entrepreneurship going on, in this type of business world. Maybe it's a hub. These days there are many hubs. kind of startup hubs, startup places, Leo can actually really feel when they're there in that, maybe they're working on their own business in those hubs, they can really feel, that they're doing something meaningful. They're on their purpose in this lifetime. Now, a weird one. This one is a bit of a weirder one. Obviously, you can't do everyone can't do it, but factories, wherever some sort of machine building is happening, actually, in a weird enough way, Leos can feel like they're on their purpose there. Now, so I know some of these sound a little bit strange or weird, but if some even sound a little bit weird for you guys, and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know, do your best to do like the simple ones. Start moving, start the movement, and really observe what is happening when you're moving. Does it feel like there's more purpose for you in this lifetime? And if it's consistent, see basically what starts happening. This is what I actually urge you to do. And then you can start integrating, other things like, building businesses and entrepreneurship and going into those startup hubs as well. Martial arts, obviously. Excitement. I think I mentioned this during the Aries video, but again, anything that creates excitement, the excitability needs to be there for the Leos as well, similar to Aries's. So guys, thank you very much for listening, watching this video. I hope you got something out of it, and you go on and start creating that purpose. Remember, simple things can create a lot of purpose in your daily lives if you just do the right things. Like, share, subscribe to the video. Thank you very much for being with me. Leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you very much, guys, and see you again soon in the next video.